Hey everybody, this is Videobob, and we're in my purple room. Normally you see me in my red office area. This is my bedroom. I have a huge bedroom. It's like 24 by 25. It's a big bedroom, and we did it in purple. I have purple carpet, purple walls, and a black bed, and it's really fun. So we're here to talk about robot vacuums. That's what you've searched for. If you're not already a subscriber of mine and you like cool reviews like this, I do a lot of crazy stuff. I've got a TV show on the Reels channel called Screen Machines. I build custom cars, and I hang out with a lot of cool people, and I do a lot of cool stuff. So you really should join my channel. You know, because I've got this big house and I've got a lot of different kinds of floors here, and I'm lazy, I wanted to try to get into robot vacuums. Okay, now I've had this one. This is like one of the original Roombas. This is the 500 series. I've had this thing almost 10 years, and quite frankly, I haven't used it in the last 5 years because, well, quite frankly, it was a piece of shit. It hardly ever worked. This is the one that has bristle brushes, had a nickel metal hydride battery, I believe, and it just sat unused in my bar in there for like last 5 years. And I just recently got the hankering to get this thing up and running. So you can buy one of these used for little or nothing. I mean, you can get one for like 50 bucks. Right? And 9 times out of 10, it just needs a couple of things. I kind of took it apart, I cleaned it really well, and it was working. And what I found was the problem with it is when you take this cover off, which I see I need to tighten these screws here. You take the cover off, a common problem with these is the battery connections get corroded over time and get dirty. What you need to do is you take this cover off, the battery just sets in there, clean the contacts really good, get some contact cleaner, just scrape them off, a little Brillo or a little Scotch-Brite, and then put it back in, and it worked. But I went ahead and ordered another battery. You can get a battery for one of these things for like 20 bucks, 20 to 50 bucks from China all day long on eBay. I ordered new brushes and sweeper, and also got new pads. I think I spent a total of maybe 50 bucks totally refurbishing this thing. Got new little spinner brushes, new center brushes, new filters, new battery, new everything, and everything is back up to snuff on the thing, and it was working great. The thing is it just doesn't work well on carpet, and of course I got a lot of carpet. So my advice to you, my recommendation is if you only have hardwood floors and they're not very cluttered, or you have very tight pile office type carpet with no rugs and no barriers, you could pick up an older Roomba for little or nothing, refurbish it, put a new battery, new brushes on it, and for less than 100 bucks probably be into the robot vacuum world. All right, but like I said, now for instance, if you have a cat or a dog or an animal, do not get one with brushes. You're going to be cleaning this thing every 30 seconds. It's just not going to work. And I've always, you know, and also, these ones are loud as shit, the old ones. You know, if I get it going here. Seriously? It's kind of weak. Man, all right. So, I got this one and it inspired me to check out maybe the new one. I thought, you know, maybe in the last 10 years, they've done some innovations. Well, you can see the design hasn't changed much. This is a brand new Roomba 805 that I bought from Costco. Almost basically the same design. They changed a couple of things. And one of the things they changed is instead of brushes, they now have just silicone rollers. These are awesome. If you have a cat or a dog, these will work perfectly for you, okay? And I set this thing loose. I have one cat. Now I have a Bengal, and Bengals aren't supposed to shed much. But I swear, every time I set this thing loose, it comes back with a bin full of fur. And I'm like, where is it getting it from? And one of the things I realized is the great thing about the thin profile of these is it goes under the bed, under the dresser, under the TV, places where we have never vacuumed, like ever. Because how would you get under there? So this definitely does that, and it does okay on this carpet, but this is about as thick of a carpet as you could do. It's really made more for hardwood floors or really thin carpet, but it will go on this carpet, and there's not a lot of obstacles in this room. The only thing is I have one little shag carpet that I have over there at the foot of my bed, and it can't go on that. But the good thing about it is this thing is so low, it doesn't even try to go over it. It bumps into it and goes away. Whereas I have other vacuums that try to go over it and they get stuck, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So obviously if you have a hardwood floor, that's great. If you have a low carpet and not a lot of obstacles, this is great for pet hair. Now, by the way, I wanted to make this video a little earlier, but I couldn't because it quit working on me. I had to go back yesterday to Costco, and this is brand new. I went and got another one because the little spinny brush thing stopped working after only 2 weeks. Now, I think that that's just sort of an anomaly. Maybe something happened, it was defective. Because this one's 10 years old and it still works. And you can replace just that module all by itself if you wanted to. But it's Costco. If you have the opportunity to buy something from Costco, make sure to buy from Costco, because Costco will replace anything, anytime, for any reason. They don't care, and they are a great company. So they sell the 805. You can get the 900 series, which we'll talk about here in a second. So here's the thing about these. You know, all of the Roombas, and I'm not even going to really talk about all the other fake Roombas. There's the iLife and the Schwing Shvi and the Chingy Chong Fungy Fong. They're all just knockoffs of the Roomba. They're in the shape of the Roomba. They have the same infrared eye on the top. They have the same sensors on the bottom. They just put the bin in a different place or whatever to change it just enough so that they don't get sued by Roomba. But they basically copied directly the internal robot memory that's inside this thing. Really, these things are not autonomous smart robots. They don't think. All they know is they bump into something, they make a turn, they go the other direction. They have some sensors on the bottom. I want to talk about these sensors. These sensors along the bottom are there to sense if it's going to go off a cliff or fall off the stairs. Now, this is very important. And if you've been hanging on to the video this long, thank you, because this is going to pay off for you. What I learned is you cannot use a Roomba or a Roomba knockoff or any of the vacuums that rely on these sensors on the bottom alone on dark floors. They don't work on black carpet. My office downstairs has black carpet. And if you've ever had black carpet, you know that every time you walk on it, it gets dirty. The tiniest little specks show up. It shows dirt worse than any other carpet in the world. You wouldn't think so, but it does. And I remember when I installed my black carpet, my friend said, you know, you're going to regret that because it shows how dirty it is. And I said, well, wait a minute. So you're saying you'd rather have some mixed tone brown and beige carpet that hides the dirt and live in filth rather than see the dirt and clean it. I prefer to clean my house. So anyway, this thing, if you try to put it on black carpet, it freaks out. It thinks it's falling off a cliff. Can't put it on a black mat, can't put it on a black carpet. It might do the same thing on a black tile, but I haven't tried it yet. No, it does work on black tile because I took this one and put it in my RV at my shop. I have a RV with black marble floors, and it does work on that, but probably because there's enough reflection coming off the shiny floor. But the black carpet would not go on the black carpet. Okay, here's the Roomba on a hardwood floor. As you know, it works great on hardwood floors. But if you try to get this thing to go onto black carpet, it won't do it. It thinks that it's an edge. You try to put it on black carpet.
Error 6. Move Roomba to a new location. Then press clean to restart.
It won't do black carpet. So the way these work is they drive around, they bump into things, they go the other way. It basically plays ping pong. When the battery gets to a certain low level, it only knows that it needs to look for its dock. This eye looks for the signal coming from its dock, which is over there. It guides it to the dock. That's about as autonomous as they are. You can schedule them to turn on and off and things like that, but that's basically a lamp timer. To call these robots is an insult to the robot community. They're not fucking robots, okay? They're not autonomous. Let me show you a robot. This is the Dyson 360i. This thing is a robot. Now, the thing about this video is, unless you're watching in Europe, you can't buy these anymore. Dyson stopped selling them in the United States just 2 weeks ago. They've only been out a couple of years. They're really expensive. They're $1,000. But this is a real robot. But it has its good points and its bad points too. Now, some of its good points has these tank tracks that'll drive over anything. The bad thing about that is, whereas the Roomba will hit that shag carpet rug and go the other way because it knows it can't go over it, This sumbitch will try to drive over it because it can, and then of course it gets stuck with the bristles. This has a single row of bristles instead of the double rows of silicone. But look how wide the track is. It goes the entire width. It actually exceeds the width of the actual robot. When you compare that to the size of these, it's a little bit bigger. You know, if I were to pull one of these little rollers out, it's really, you know, it's really only about an, you know, 1.5, 2 inches longer, but it gets that much more, which, you know, helps. Look how easy that is to pull that out, by the way. It's this thing is really easy to clean and maintain. I do absolutely recommend the new Roombas. But this thing does not use the same sensing technology as these. Now it does have some 2 lower sensors here that detect whether or not it's on a cliff, but it does it in a different way. Rather than using a visual infrared, it's more of sort of an echolocation kind of thing. And the entire thing here shifts so that when it hits something, it knows that it bumped into something. Now the way the 360i works is it has a 360 camera on the top. It literally looks around the room, makes a 3D map of the room, and it cleans in a completely different way. This thing, you see, matter of fact here, I'll turn it on. It's, I gotta turn it off because it accidentally got turned on, it was upside down. And it was freaking it out because it couldn't see. So I'm going to turn it on. It's going to take it a second to get its stuff together. And this thing's kind of loud, by the way, and I can't use the app because my phone's over there recording me. Shit. On the app, this has a phone app, you can tell it to do a quiet mode and low mode or high full mode, which I think is what it's in now. So it's going to be kind of loud. And what this thing does, it drives through the middle of the room. It spins around. It makes a 3D map of the room, visually looking at all the things in the room. Then it methodically and slowly does a little grid like this, right? Now because it uses visual references, it will go on my black carpet. But here's the deal. I have black carpet, I have black furniture. I have red walls and it's dimly lit in my office. So because this thing requires visual help, you have to leave all the lights on in order for it to work. See, it can't see that robot down here. It sees me. Now it's trying to run over my feet. It's running over my feet. See, it's going to back up. It's okay. It's going to take it. Come on, figure it out. I'm going to tell you another trick. You see these little tiles here? Are you familiar with the Bluetooth tile? Bluetooth tile is like a finder. I put one on my cat, put it on your keys, helps you find things. Well, every once in a while you're going to lose one of these sumbitches, and you cannot find it. Well, I put the tile on there so I could find it. That's a brilliant idea, by the way. One time I lost this thing. I could not find the fucking thing. I looked everywhere for it. So I put a tile Bluetooth tracker on it that sends out a little beeping signal and lets me track the thing. Now, this thing uses the app to tell you everywhere that it's been, and it will give you a readout once it's finished. If you start it from its dock, which I didn't do here, you start it from its dock, it'll pull out of its dock, it'll clean the entire room that it's in. It won't venture off into other rooms. It'll clean just the room it's in. Once the battery gets low, it'll go recharge itself and then continue cleaning the room until it feels like it's finished. But it doesn't venture off and get lost usually. These things, they just go all over the place. You see how it's mapping things out? It takes it a few minutes to get its shit together, to figure out where it's at. Notice how it steers itself around very slowly and methodically. This thing really does think, and it looks around. Once it gets to an area where it wants, it'll start doing a grid, and it works from the inside out. Whereas these things, they just run around and do whatever they want. Now let me pause this thing because I've got it on full blast mode and it's loud as shit. Look how quiet this one is. Much quieter. Now this one doesn't have the option of having a low mode or a high mode. It just has this mode. And now Roomba did come out with a much higher quality version that works much like the Dyson, called the 980 or the 900 series. Has a camera built into it, and it also uses the camera way to look around. Now I haven't got to try and test one of those, and I want to check one of those out. I'm not sure if it will also work on the black carpet, but I have the feeling that it probably won't. The other thing is this thing didn't even have the power to drive on the black carpet. This thing does. This thing has balls. But you're going to ask yourself, okay, so which robot vacuum should I get? Come back over here. Do you talk to your robot vacuum? I do. You're going to ask yourself, okay, which one of these should I get? Well, you know, here's the deal. You have to figure out what kind of carpets you have, what kind of floors you have, and where you're going to put it. You cannot get one of these to clean your whole house. Unless you live in like a really small, if you're one of these people who lives like in a flat, you know, you live in one of these really small little room, you know, like little concrete hardwood places, then you can get any robot vacuum and that will work for you fine. It got stuck already. This thing never gets stuck. Ah, shit. See? You got, I hear you. So here's the deal. All right, shut up. So here's the deal. I left a goddamn pair of socks laying over there, okay? You gotta pick up and clean before you set these things loose. You can't leave out bath mats, rugs that are shaggy. You can't leave a towel or drapes where it can get to it. You can't leave, you know, your underwear and your socks laying. You can't leave one of your phone cords, because if it runs across a cord or a sock, goes into your laundry room and picks up a dryer sheet, anything like that will shut it down. So even though the idea for these things is supposed to be to clean your house while you're away, you kind of got to babysit them. Very rarely will it do a complete clean and go back to the dock without any incident. I have this black one here solely for doing this room only. This is our bedroom. This is where our kitty lives. And it picks up a tremendous amount of kitty hair. And like I said, we have a Bengal. They're not supposed to shit. You'll be surprised what you get out of it. So if you buy one of these robot vacuums, I know this is going to sound silly, but you have to vacuum first. You need to pre-clean the house with a real plug-in vacuum first. And the reason for that is the bin in this thing is a little small. I mean, hell, it's only been running for what, a minute or two, and there's already some dirt in there. So this is a very small little bin, you know what I mean? Also, these aren't really vacuums. There is a vacuum going on in there, but it's not really a vacuum. This Dyson, this is really a vacuum. This is probably the only one that actually is a vacuum. This is probably the only robot out there that is actually a real vacuum. This thing has the power of basically one of their stick vacuums. And look how much smaller it is compared to the Roombas. But you can still get one of these. You can find them on eBay, or you can buy them from Japan or the UK. You're going to spend about $1,000 US on them or more. I bought this one unopened, new old stock. It was purchased this year by the person I bought it from, unopened. I bought it and registered it. I bought it for $750, and I'm pretty happy with it, actually. I mean, it pisses me off once in a while, and it was a lot of money, but it does clean my black carpet office, and it picks up all the little specks. It gets stuck once in a while on little things. You can't expect it to be perfect, but it's a Dyson, and I'm a huge fan of Dyson products. I mean, I have a Dyson hairdryer, and I don't even have hair. I use it on my beard. Smooth and silky. I have, I don't know, I think about 6 different Dyson vacuums. I have the purple ball, the yellow ball. I have a stick vacuum here, a stick vacuum on my RV, a stick vacuum at my shop. I gave my mom a stick vacuum. I'm really interested in getting the new V10, the new one that's out. I just love Dyson products. I think that they are superior, and I really, you know, I'm an Apple guy. People that are into Apple stuff are probably into Dyson stuff because they're just well-engineered, fine pieces of machinery. And, you know, the bin is a little small. Here's the bin. It doesn't hold a lot, so that's a little bit of an issue. But if you're using it every day, which I do, I have this thing come on every day, and you can run it from your phone app, which is up there recording me, and it will send you a text message and tell you if it has a problem, that it's stuck or whatever. You can tell it to do a quiet mode, which gives you longer battery life, and it runs for a longer time. And like I said, when you run it from the dock, it returns to its dock most of the time, just like these most of the time. So if I hadn't had that sock laying on the ground, this little guy would have kept going. So the question is, should you have a robot vacuum at all, and which one should you get? If you have hardwood floors in a small area, or just hard floors, concrete floors, wood floors, tile, you can get pretty much any robot vacuum, and they will all work the same. That's my opinion, either a Roomba or a Roomba knockoff. If you have a combination of that with thin carpet, go with the newer Roomba that has the Aeroforce silicone rollers. If you have an animal, a cat or whatever, go with the rollers. My wife has long black hair. This thing picks up long black hair like you wouldn't believe. If you have a hair issue, stay away from any robot that has a bristle brush. This one has a bristle brush, but I don't use it where the cat goes. The cat doesn't go in my office. The cat only lives here in the bedroom in the upper level. So this resides only downstairs, and it only does that area. But also remember, you can take your robot vacuum with you and put it in another room. You can just take your Roomba, close the door off, and let it go in there. So for instance, I have a couple of places where I take my Roombas. Like this one I take with me on vacation when I go in my RV, because I only have a tile floor in my tour bus in my RV. And I can have this thing cleaning while I'm driving down the road. It's cleaning the whole thing. It's a small area, and it does absolutely fantastic, and almost never gets stuck. The tile app is the tile is a great idea for that. So, but this doesn't work worth a damn on carpet. It will go. Let's see. It will go on carpet, and it's doing actually great in here since I put the new rollers on. But here's the deal, like I was saying, is that even though it will work, you got to spend so much goddamn time cleaning it. Ah, shit, it's going to hit the tripod and break the camera. Here it goes. When this thing is done, it's going to be completely covered in cat hair. You have to take the rollers out. You have to take this little tool and de-fur the thing. It's going to hit the tripod again. Fucking retarded. This thing would not have hit it. Now this one's way quieter. By the way, another tip on using these. I have a big, huge open space here. One of my tips and tricks that I do is I put it in the middle of the room and I put it on spot clean. Spot clean does a big 6-foot circle. It keeps hitting the camera. Come to me. You talk to your robot, I do. Come here! Bad boy. Bad. No. Spank me, Daddy. Spank me. Hurt me. I like to put this thing in the middle of the room, put it on spot clean, and just let it just does a big circle. And then it'll stop. And that's a good way to make sure you've cleaned an open area. The thing about these is they have no idea where they're going or what they're doing. They just run around. It's like ping pong. Bing, bong, bing, 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 bing. It hits something, it makes a right. That's all it does. And the theory is that after 45 minutes of that, hopefully it's covered everything in the room. And when you come back, if you have the carpet, it's all zigzagged, it's all nice. When the Dyson does its job, everything is in a exact pattern. This thing gives you a chart and shows you everywhere it went. And it does like a lawnmower. It does, exact patterns, right? And then it does the perimeter of the room, and then it goes and docks itself. And if it still thinks there's room left that it didn't cover, after it charges itself, it'll go back and resume and got where it went. Now here's the downside to that. It doesn't remember where it's been. Every time it starts a cleaning cycle, it starts all over again. That's kind of a bummer. It also does not venture off. It only stays in the room you put it in. Now it might go into a hallway or whatever, but it doesn't go through and do your whole house. I've found it stays in the one room. So you pretty much you want to go put it in the room you want to clean, set it free, let it do its thing. The Roombas, it just goes. If it can go, it goes, and you have no idea where it's going to go, what it's going to do, where it's going to end up. I've been using this one actually in my garage, which is why it's dropped some rocks and things. My garage where I parked my car, and that was a little bit of a problem because my garage floor has been painted with a gray epoxy paint, but I put a black rubber runner around the car. So when I get out of the car, I walk on the little rubber runner so I don't track in junk into my house. Well, as soon as this thing hits that black mat, it freaks out. So it won't clean the black mat. It cleans everything except the black mat, and I have to go in there with a stick vacuum and manually clean that thing. And the truth of the matter is, when you clean with a vacuum, with a stick vacuum, you basically just kind of eyeball where you see some dirt and you get it, and you do the main walkways. What's great about these is they're good for dust bunnies. Like I said, I've been here almost 10 years. I've never once vacuumed under the TV or under the bed or under my dresser. This thing goes up under there and gets those dust bunnies, and this is going to be kind of gross, but you know, if you spray for bugs like I do, they die along the baseboards, usually under something like that. So it'll pick up, you know, worms, crickets, roaches, and stuff that it's found that you never saw, which is grody, but that's great that it got it, cobwebs, things like that. Most things are about that tall, so they did a pretty good job of making it as thin as possible. The thing about this one, it's like a 3-layer birthday cake or some wedding cake or something. It's too tall to get under most stuff, which is kind of weird. But the way this thing is designed, because it's smaller in its diameter, it gets into places where this one can't go physically, but not under things. And it relies on visuals. And as I mentioned earlier, you have to leave the fucking lights on for this thing to see. If it's dark, it won't work. So all these robot assholes need to get together and build one super robot vacuum that takes from all the best of all of them. Needs to have the camera, needs to have the sensors, needs to have the silicone rollers. You know, this thing could benefit by also having the little spinny sweeps. It could benefit from, you know, being a little bit lower maybe. And you know, the way I look at it, Dyson, is if you're going to make it too tall to fit under shit, well, fucking make it this tall and put a big brick battery in there so that it runs all day long, has a bigger bin, and has more cameras on it and stuff. I mean, if you're going to take away its value of being able to go under shit, make it this big, you know, I don't care. And make it have a battery where it runs for more than 30, 40 minutes at a time. 30, 40 minutes is a long time, but you see how slow this thing is? This thing is slow as shit. This thing is fast. It hauls ass. It'll do this whole room in like 20 minutes. This thing, it's like, it takes all day long. So you figure it does 2 cycles after charging itself. So it'll vacuum for 30, 40 minutes, charge itself for 2 or 3 hours, then go back out. So you're talking about a run cycle like 4 hours. Now, if you're not home and it's doing it, or it's in the middle of the night, who cares how long it takes, as long as it does a good job, and that's what matters. But I think that all of these robot vacuums need to learn something from each other. And there's so many of these knockoffs. You know, I've watched a gazillion of these videos just like you have. I know this is a really long video, but look, if you're going to spend as much as $1,000 on a robot vacuum, I think you should learn from somebody who's tested out a bunch of different ones on a bunch of different places. And most of the reviews that you see from people doing these things, either they get paid to do it, or they just check the thing out for a day or two, and then they basically read the specs off the box. Those reviews suck balls. I give real reviews from real life experience, and I use all 3 of these every single day. And, you know, I can tell you, I hope you've learned from my experience of which one you need. So just a quick review. I don't want to repeat myself, but if you got hardwood floors, any Roomba will work. But if you have animals, you want the one with the silicone rollers. It's worth the extra money. This thing was about, it was under $400 from Costco. By the way, anytime you can buy anything from Costco, buy it from Costco. I took back a lawnmower a year later. They will take back anything. I bet you could take back a laptop from 1995. They don't give a shit. All right, so now, if you've got really complicated interior with a lot of obstacles, but it's well lit, carpet's a little thicker, money's not an issue, get the Dyson 360i if you can find it. I want to check out the Roomba 980. If anybody has a Roomba 980 with the camera technology on there, let me know if it works on black floors, black carpet, if you can. I may get a hold of one. I may buy one secondhand and check it out because they don't offer it at the Costco where I have. I'd like to get one of those and see, because quite frankly, I would rather have, I think, the Roomba over the Dyson. I like its speed. I like how quiet it is. It's a little bit more reliable. You know, this guy here, it's not that it's not reliable. It's just that it's not good for me because I'm using it in a black room that's dimly lit and it can't see. It can't tell the difference between black carpet and a black couch. And it runs right into it. And then I have all black furniture on black carpet in a dimly lit room. You've seen my red room. Looks bright on camera, but the floor is really dark. It probably, and it does okay in here. I did use it in here on the purple floor where I have 2 crystal chandeliers in here and it's pretty bright in here. So it did fine in here, but I don't need it in here. That's why I have this one. You know what I did with my Roomba that was hilarious? I have a station wagon. I put it in the back of my station wagon, which is carpeted, and it was all filthy. And I had it just run around, and I closed the gate, left it in there for 10 minutes, cleaned the shit out of my car. It was great. I'll put it in the hallway or up on the little area where the stairs is. You can stick it just on a certain little area, and it'll clean it. Whereas the Dyson, it's not gonna. It's too smart for that, and it's not gonna like that kind of environment. Whereas this thing, you can just stick it like in a short little. Matter of fact, I had to clean my bed. Cat was up on the bed. I put it up on the bed to clean it. I got a red velvet couch in the other room in there, and the cat loves to lay on that couch. And it's a flat. It's like a hard foam couch. It's really decorative. I put the thing up on the couch. It cleaned the shit out of the couch. It was great. So the Roombas have their place, and so do the Dysons. It really just depends on the environment, how you plan to use it, and how often. But here's the thing. They are not without their maintenance. The truth of the matter is, the amount of time that you spend fucking with these things, you probably could have just vacuumed in 5 minutes. They are not an answer to living in a world without having to work. You have to empty the bin, you have to take the rollers out and clean it, you have to pull hair out, you have to wipe down all the sensors. A lot of people have these and they stop working on them. They don't realize you got to wipe off the sensors here almost every time you use it. You have to clean these sensors. You have to make sure there's no hair wound up in this thing. You have to clean. Now these stay really amazingly clean, the silicone ones. But like I said, any of the knockoff ones all have bristle brushes. Bristle brushes, man, they just suck. Because even if you don't have a cat, they pick up human hair, they pick up carpet fibers, they pick up strings, and you got to clean them constantly. So if you have one of these because you're hoping to not have to do any work or get your hands dirty, you constantly have to take this thing apart and fucking clean it. Even right now, I noticed this screw is loose, and if you weren't somebody who was like me, who's a technical guy who can fix shit, you'd be stuck out in the cold. If my old lady owned this thing would be broke down all the time and she wouldn't know what to do with it. And this thing probably just vibrated loose. Look at that. I just happen to carry a screwdriver with me everywhere I go. And I can see how dirty these contacts are. Every once in a while you got to pull this little wheel out right here. This whole thing just comes out. You take a pair of pliers and you pull it out. So, if you can get a hold of it. These aren't quite the right size pliers, but look at that. So this whole thing comes out, and of course it's covered in goo and fur and dirt. And this little wheel comes out. You want to make sure that's spinning. All of these things are replaceable. You can buy all of these parts modularly. You can buy this little wheel. You can buy like these little spinners for like nothing, like $1 a piece. You can buy new wheels with the motors built in them. New rollers, this whole carriage, the battery. You can get everything for this thing really, really cheap. Like I mentioned earlier, I think it was less than $50 for a new battery, brushes, filters, everything, and it's working just like new. The problem is working like new wasn't that great because it was a piece of shit when they made it. Same thing with these, you know, you can get, this thing has kind of a crazy HEPA filter system up in the top, which is kind of cool. Ew. It works. Basically, the vacuum is right here. It's just got a little bitty motor right here. Not much to it. It's just a little bitty motor. It's got a, ew, I just dropped, ew, I got fur and dirt on me, ew. Okay. I need it to vacuum me. Go clean dirt. Set them all loose. Let's see what happens. Here. So there you have it. I hope you learned something. I'm sorry this video took forever. If you actually sat here and watched this whole thing, thank you. Or maybe, goddamn, you're really bored. But hey, listen, I like good information when I can get it, especially when I'm going to spend like $1,000 on a vacuum. The reason I made this video is that I searched the web all over trying to find some real, genuine user information. Somebody who owned these things and used them. And I just couldn't find anything but a lot of lip service. People basically reading the comments that are on the side of the box. They didn't really live with this thing, and they didn't really talk about what it's like to really own it. Look, these two are going to hit each other. Excuse me, sir. One of the things I forgot to mention about the Roomba 805, I don't think this one does it. It might. Something that only the Roombas do. Inside the... Get off of me, God! They're my children. Anyway, something that the Roomba does that I don't think any other robot does, it's got a little sensor inside the actual receptacle where the rollers are. When it rolls over an area with heavy dirt and senses that it's getting a lot of... See, that's the new one. It's already stuck. Or not the new one. That's the old one with the bristles. Doesn't like carpet. It's already stuck. It didn't even do anything. It just got stuck. Sorry. When it detects it's going over a bunch of dirt, it stops and backs up and goes like this over that area and makes sure to get it real clean. Roombas are the only one to do that. Look, it saw me, and it's like, I don't know about this, and then it's gonna like taste. Get this rock here. Get this rock. There's pebbles here. Get it. Right here. Get it. Come on. You can do it. No, no. Not that way. There. It's there. Really? Really? Fuck you! Take a right. Really? Nobody listens to me. I'm still here. I was here last time. Oh, he's gonna turn around. Okay, cool. Get that rock. Get the rock. Nope. The Roomba got the rock. No, it didn't. It's still there. Get the rock! See what it did there? See what it did? It noticed that there's some shit right here on the carpet. This is exactly what I wanted to talk about. It got the rock! Roomba for the win! It detected that there was dirt here, and it stops and it makes sure to get it all. I love it! Roomba for the win! Fuck yeah, Roomba! That's the new one, 805. So 800 to 900 series is what you want if you're going to buy a Roomba. Don't dick with the 600 or anything below that. Unless you're just going to put it on hardwood floor. But see how this thing methodically goes, and it knows exactly where it was at. Just real slow about the way it does it. It's going to turn, I think it's out of range of the camera now. And it's going to turn, and it's going to do a very precise grid. Right? Based on what's in the room. Now it's going out of camera so you can't see it. God damn it, I think the Roomba's stuck under the, no, it got out. It started to get stuck under the TV stand. I'm so bored I watch my robot vacuums clean the carpet. I have no life. You should be on YouPorn by now. Why are you watching it? I'm right. You can't see me. Look, it's driving around me. See, this thing is really smart. It really can, like, see shit. But the way this thing operates and the way the Roombas operate, two completely different things. You know, this thing does a real precise, methodical thinking to it. This thing just drives around aimlessly. Alright, shit. I got stuff to do, and goddamn it, you've got to have something to do by now yourself. Thanks for watching. This is probably the longest video I've ever made in the history of my videos. I'm Videobob. Please subscribe. I know everybody says that on their videos, but oh, I thought the new one got stuck. It bumped into the old one, and the old one started talking again. Boy, this thing is picking up a shitload of... Where'd all this fur come from? I'm looking in the bin. It's full of fur. I just fucking vacuum here. I vacuum here every day. Wow. This thing is badass. I gotta say the Dyson is badass. Man, it's a toss-up between which one is really the best. They're all different in their own little way. The bottom line is they all kind of work. And please post in the comments your experiences. If you have any of these, or if you have one that you think is better. Shit, man, that thing is full of fur. How about you? Not really nothing. There's not much in there. There's a little bit, but not much. Dyson getting the most amount of fur. And I mean, this thing was clean just a second ago. I just showed it to you. Here. Ew. That's a lot of carpet fiber and funk. Wow. Kicking ass Dyson. At this point, I seriously want to look at my YouTube insights and see how many of you people are still watching this fucking shit. Watching me watch my vacuums clean my bedroom. I have 2 robot vacuums in one room. This is fucking hilarious. I noticed the Roomba never goes in a complete straight line. It always arcs to the right just a little. See, look, it's dirt detecting. There's dirt here from where I opened the bin. I'm sitting on the dirt. And it's detecting this shit right here. I love it when it does that. Check this out. I like it when it does this. Put it on spot, and it's going to go in a big circle. So it'll get this area. Let's watch my robots. This is so much. This is more fun than Disneyland. I'm a dork. La 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 la. Round and circle. What you gotta do when you hit the couch? But anyway, this is what I do. I'll put it in the middle of a big room, and it just goes in a big circle. The Dyson does that once in a while. Like, it'll run into something, and it'll just shut itself down for a second. Think. And go, what should I do here? It's all analytical. So yeah, what is that, like a 5-foot, 6-foot circle, something like that? And then when it gets to the center, it'll just stop and sing a little song for you. I love the sound that the Roomba makes when the battery dies. It plays like the Death March. It's a... it gets all sad. All right, you guys. I give up. I have shit to do. I mean, we've been in here for an hour. All right, I'm Videobob. Thanks for watching. I gotta go. Hey, it's at my feet.